I've been doing marketing for you up and down the coast.
I see.
Just because I knew it was such a wonderful opportunity
Yeah.
for people to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what the cleaning process is like on an experiential level.
Well, again, you have data. Data I may experience the data as I don't like you. Okay, let's say the data
Sure.
says in my mind I'm going, oh my God, and I have to put up with this bullshit stuff.
Right.
Blah, 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 and I go, oh, I get to clean with that.
Right.
What's going on in me?
Right.
And I didn't know I had it.
Right.
So I can say to that data in me, I love you. Thank you for giving me one more chance to let you go so that I can be free.
Right.
So the Hoopanapono is about saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And then the I'm sorry, please forgive me can be said a different way. I love you, thank you, blueberries, M&Ms, the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah. But the notion is that it's my responsibility, totally. So it has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're talking to not the person, but to
I'm talking to myself.
Yourself.
Yeah, specifically I'm talking to this inner child in me who is suffering because I'm holding on. So the Hoopanapono is, you're asking questions, but it's an engagement process. Like you say, you're trying to wrap yourself around it. The Hoopanapono is about letting go.
Right.
It's just let go, boom, the data goes, and all of a sudden you get inspiration to do something it never came out for you to do.
Right.
Yeah.
In the introduction to Zero Limits, Joe Vitale talks about programs that go back to the beginning of existence.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little more about that?
Yeah, when coming back again to Shakespeare, and when we were initially created at the beginning, we were nothing, blank, no data, perfect in every way. Didn't have to think, didn't have to make money, didn't have to do any of this sort of stuff. So no data playing. And then out of that no data, which is what Buddha called void, up comes this, what Buddha called enlightenment, which is the source of the light. And then that source of the light decided, and I don't know why and how come, and I'm not interested, decided to create each one of us, and created each one of us infinitely zero. So that's how we began. And so what does it mean to be infinitely zero? It means we experience heaven on earth, nirvana, art, beauty, love, until something came along, and it brought darkness. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you in that state of bliss, nirvana?
If I was in that state, I would not be here
Oh.
sitting with you guys. I'm here because I have stuff to let go.
But clearly you've had a considerable degree of success based upon your having emptied a psychiatric hospital.
I don't know what that means, success.
Assisted in a healing for people.
No, I didn't assist. I only took care of me. I'm responsible. I wasn't interested in them. They just came along in my life and said, hello, you got stuff you should let go. I said, oh, okay. So I didn't do it for them.
They're just mirrors then to yourself?
More importantly, more specifically, more precisely, that we had shared memories.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this notion about healing people is bullshit stuff. I didn't do that. I'm only here to clean up what was going on in me that kept him goofy, that kept him stuck in the hospital. That's what I came. I came along to do that, to do it on me, not them. And if they benefit, okay, but that wasn't my orientation. That wasn't my focus. My focus was to be free. Yeah.
So anyone who comes in front of you in any way,
Or before.
you
Yeah,
have relationship with that person
You
on
have
some level.
shared data.
And do you feel a sense of compassion towards the people that
You're funny. What does that mean, compassion?
a heartfelt connection.
You want me to be deadly honest with you?
Yes, please.
It's bullshit stuff. It's like when you're free at zero, you have nothing. You're free. You're not even in love. You're not having any of this stuff you hear, the garbage that you hear. You're nothing. That's what Jesus said. Jesus said, listen, seek ye first the kingdom, which is nothingness, and you shall see God. That's what I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing the God in you guys.
Okay.
I'm not interested in. So if I see the God in you, then I'm okay. I'm fine. See, it's the data. If I can let go of the data, which is the mortgage on my soul, I get back to zero. Then I'm going to see what Jesus said. I'm going to see God.
And nothing but.
Yeah, nothing but. And because you guys were already perfect, it was the imperfection of the data in me, not in you. So this notion about saving or clearing out the hospital is funny. The whole universe laughs. That universe is not interested in saving anybody. The universe is interested in one being 100% responsible. Then the universe will sing, Hallelujah.
But did that event happen then? That was
I'm
written?
sorry?
The event that's described in the book about you working in the psychiatric hospital.
What about it?
Did it happen?
What happened?
Did it so happen that you did cleaning on yourself, and that those people were healed and moved on?
Let me be really more precise. It's very important to be precise. When I showed up at the hospital, it isn't a job I wanted to do.
Right.
But I had a friend there who said, we need some help. And I said, well, I can do it. Just give me the names of the people. I can do it from wherever. I don't have to be there. Well, we can't do it because it's confidential. So I said, okay. And maybe after a year or two, I finally relinquished and went. And so when I showed up, all the seclusion rooms were used. And there were people, several people daily in restraint, physical, that sort of restraint. There was really verbal and physical violence in the world. So I just did my cleaning. What was going on in me that I'm experiencing? Like the toilets flushing with nobody on them, the shower turning on with nobody, And so I just began the cleaning, and months later, without making an effort, the seclusion rooms went. Nobody ended up in the seclusion rooms. The violence stopped.